All right, we are doing Mercedes-Benz for Marketing 230. My name is Tristan.
I'm Mia.
I'm Timmy.
I'm Caden.
I'm Vivian.
I'm Braden.
Great. So for the first, we talk about the history of Mercedes-Benz. So it was founded by Carl Benz in Stuttgart, Germany. The first car itself was in 1855. As you can see on the picture in this PowerPoint, it was a three-wheeled, self-propelled motor wagon. So it was founded way early by Carl Benz, but the company itself wasn't established until the year 1926. Since then, it's grown all over the world. They have production factories in Brazil, Germany, the United States, Hungary, France, Indonesia, India, South Africa, and Vietnam. The other picture you can see is the logo of Mercedes-Benz. And the cool thing about the logo is when I looked it up and I researched about it, it talked about how it was the company's goal to dominate the land, sea, and air. Yeah, so the history of Mercedes-Benz marketing strategy. So their whole company is centered around luxury, safety, and precision engineering of its cars. The slogan they use for their advertising, you see it a lot in their commercials or the billboards, is the best or nothing. And with this slogan, they're able to reach their target market. And their target market is middle-aged people with middle to high incomes. The quote that you see on the PowerPoint is the mission statement for Mercedes-Benz. And it says, "We will inspire and create an exceptional place to work and to do business. One employee, one customer, one vehicle at a time. Through our transparent atmosphere, premium auto inventory, and individualized customer care, we create the luxury shopping experience that our customers truly deserve." So it's cool to see like the marketing strategy of how it's kind of ranged for a certain target market and how they do that.
And then next we have the environmental analysis. So starting with the competitive side, Mercedes-Benz main competitors are Audi, BMW, Porsche, Lamborghini, and Bugatti, which are all really high quality car brands. And one of the main things that these companies focus on is evolving their technology. And that's one of the biggest competitive factors, is to see who has the best technology and is coming out with the newest technology. And Mercedes is doing very well because they've just released a new line of cars that have many different technological features, like Hey Mercedes, which is pretty much like Hey Siri on the iPhone, except for it's in the car. And then that way it allows people to ask the Mercedes car whatever it wants, and it will give directions or be able to turn the volume up or something like that. It also has 3-seat memory and Apple Play connection. And then the next environmental analysis is the economic factor. And so two of the biggest economic factors that have happened within the past year has been first COVID implications, and second, having President Biden be sworn in, a Democratic president. So first, for COVID, COVID-19 has caused destruction to the economy globally. Business are shutting down, which means that jobs are lost and people are having lower income, which means that they aren't going to be wanting to buy luxury goods like a car, and people aren't willing to buy new expensive items like this. And at the start of the pandemic, many car companies did discount their prices to allow for people to still have a demand for these cars. And then when it comes to President Biden being sworn in, one of the Democratic policies that he's put in is reducing pumping oil, which will help the environment, but it has caused gas prices to rocket and has caused people to have less of a demand to want to drive gas-fueled cars, but has increased demand in electric cars, which is one of the products that Mercedes-Benz does offer. And since this is just the beginning of his presidency, and I don't see his policies changing very much. The gas prices are probably going to stay very high throughout his presidency, which is going to keep increasing the demand for electric cars, which is great for Mercedes-Benz. And then next, we have the technological advancements, which I have somewhat talked about, but not completely. All of these car companies, and including Mercedes-Benz especially, has increased their safety, comfort, and user experience through increasing their technological factors. Some include lane changing controls, which reduces crashes, voice assistance, which I talked about a little bit, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto, which allows both Apple and Android to connect to the cars, remote start, Wi-Fi for up to 8 devices in the car, and as you can see in the picture, 64 color ambient lighting, which allows the user to have a better experience in their car, picking whatever color they like. And then next, specifically within the last decade, the importance of protecting the planet has become a large priority globally. And again, this is great for Mercedes-Benz because they have just come out with electric cars, and that's something that they're marketing now, which is great for the environment. But they also added voice control with natural language, which allows any language to be understood when someone's talking to the car, and they can ask for things in their native language and the car will understand them.
All right, and next we're going to talk about the marketing plan of Mercedes-Benz. They plan to promote the exciting side of their brand, integrating like cheerfulness and brand spiritedness. Obviously, that's important to get someone excited about purchasing your vehicles. And they also are making statements that they are at the top of the automotive industry, and they plan to set standards for the rest of the automotive industry. So when it comes to technology, they're always going to be number one. They're always going to have it first, and they're going to be the one that everyone else is looking to kind of see what they're doing and what their next move is, which is smart. They're also implementing luxury design and state-of-the-art technology. Obviously, that is important. One of the features is going to be a large digital display. They actually have it in some of their newer years. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's seen right here. And I've heard that they're actually going to try and expand on this, which is awesome. I mean, it's already something that we haven't seen before. So it's a beautiful thing. It's large. It's got great graphics on it. And it's easy to understand, easy to use technology. And then also for their marketing performance, they made a commercial for, it's called Painted with Love, and it's promoting the LGBTQ community, which was awesome. The commercial's main point was talking about people in the community who had been bullied publicly, and the whole commercial, 5 minutes long, was all about these people getting their story out there, and using like controversial words, which, you know, it was great that they put their name behind that and kind of opened up a new market for themselves. So they did a good job with that. And this mural right here on the slide is from the Painted with Love commercial, which was a big mural that they painted to promote like just the commercial in general, which didn't have that much to do with cars, surprisingly. And then key objectives met during the pandemic. The CEO of Mercedes decided that he was going to try and make this a positive thing for the customers and for his workers as well. So he successfully made price drop negotiations for people that were struggling financially during the pandemic. So he tried to just drop the price on certain vehicles, and then also he allowed his workers to negotiate to lower prices than usual when the financial hardship hit hard in America. And then they also implemented contactless test driving, which was a nice thing. We all get sick of having a representative follow us around and, you know, in our personal space, or sitting in the car with you for 20 minutes while you're trying to figure out if you want to make this huge purchase or not. So they did the contactless test driving, which was huge during the pandemic. And then also vehicle services that took place at the customer's home. So if someone wanted like an oil change, or, you know, maybe the interior had a spill, or anything along those lines, Mercedes was actually going to the customer's home and taking care of the problem for them. And that was really good for the pandemic as well, because people aren't wanting to leave their homes right now.
The SWOT analysis is a list of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Mercedes-Benz is a successful company because they have more strengths than weaknesses. Mercedes-Benz is the leader in innovation among other car manufacturers, which means no one else is going to have what Mercedes-Benz has. And through sponsorship, Mercedes-Benz has been able to have a good sports and motorsports presence, which is great for their target market. And with strengths come weaknesses. Mercedes-Benz market share growth is limited due to the great number of competitors. Since there is a great number of competitors, Mercedes-Benz has to really step up their game. They have to make sure all their products are flawless. And then Mercedes-Benz has a few opportunities to be successful in the near future. Right now, they are very focused on creating the best hybrid and fully electric cars on the market. And they have opportunity to increase their income due to a fast-growing automobile market. Now, just as every company has weaknesses, they also have threats. The government is Mercedes-Benz biggest threat, since they can place policies for the automobile sector based on the country they're manufacturing in. Mercedes-Benz also has to deal with increasing fuel prices, since their vehicles use premium gas.
So I'm going to be talking about the Mercedes-Benz marketing mix, or the 4 Ps. Their main product is their trustworthy luxury cars. Their customers have really come to know the quality and luxury, as they've been in service for almost 100 years. They also have a variety of versatile work vans, which are mainly sold to businesses, and they're used as like shuttles and hauling equipment. And they also have plans for more electric vehicles, and they hope to have 10 models by 2025. Along with, eventually, they want to have one electric model for each of their models that they have now. So their price range is pretty wide. They have from about $33,000 to $130,000. Many of their cars are like more on the high side, such as the Maybach and the G-Wagon, as you can see in the bottom right. This is because customers are willing to pay more for the quality and the experience, so it's more of like a trade-off. And their target market is obviously the upper to middle class, as they have like less cars at a lower cost. For promotion, they want to have technology-driven and professional-looking vehicles. Their slogan is "the best or nothing," and they strive to have a commitment to quality and a promise to shine brighter than ever before. So, like their logo is a star in a ring. They have like a lot of interesting concept designs, which they use as a kind of a benchmark for where they want to be in the future. The one in the top left was in a Drake video, which has 350 million views on YouTube. They also had the naming rights to various stadiums around the world, such as a couple in Germany, one in Shanghai, and one in New Orleans, and the one on the bottom left in Atlanta. And their owned advertising, so their accumulation of followers across Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter is 63 million. So they're really pushing hard on that. And Mercedes-Benz Place, they have production sites on 5 continents, and their largest markets are in Germany, US, China, Great Britain, and South Korea. And just in the US alone, they have over 300 dealers, and they're found more in densely populated areas because that's where most of their target market is located. So like in the bottom right, you can see a dealership, and that's where really what they want to push is their like quality looking outside, which is what they want themselves to resemble.
All right, so I'm going to be talking about the case study. So I chose to compare Audi and Mercedes-Benz just because they both are in that upper class, high-end luxury car demographic. So a little bit about Audi. It was founded in 1899, but the four companies actually merged in 1932 to form what we know of Audi as today. The primary goals right now for Audi are to produce all electric vehicles by 2025 and to continue research into artificial intelligence that they can incorporate into their automobiles. So their company vision is pretty straightforward. It's to create designs that defy convention and engineering that pushes the limits. Audi is driving progress inside our factories and out in the real world. Because progress moves us, we're a driving force for evolution in the world of mobility and beyond. So basically, they are just looking to make change, whether that's within their company and their own factories, but also out in the world as well, and just to keep creating cars that are for the future. So I just chose to compare a few elements of their marketing plan. So for Place, they have just about the same amount of stores. That's about 300 stores. And like Timmy talked about, both of those are actually in more metropolitan and highly populated areas. This is likely because cities are more highly populated, and usually like the luxurious image comes with living in a city. So they are pretty similar with that. I also chose to compare 2 of their sedan models that are pretty similar. And as you can see, the Audi model, the A4 sedan, is about $6,000 more expensive. So if you do compare those vehicles on price, Audi may have more of a luxurious image just because it is more expensive. So then I also did more of a deep dive into the about section of each of their websites, which I think is where you can get a pretty clear vision of what the company wants to tell the consumers about themselves. So for Mercedes-Benz, while they are like making, they are trying to like go more towards the future with electric cars and stuff like that, their about website really did focus more on the past and history being classic. So they focused on Bertha Benz, the first driver, and then like their first cars. And like I said, just a lot about history. And just in general, their about website was more simple, classic looking. But for Audi, it was definitely very different. Even just within the fonts, the font that they chose to use is definitely more futuristic. And they also focused on, like I said earlier, artificial intelligence to make self-driving cars potentially in the future. And they focused greatly about their electric vehicles as well. So while Mercedes-Benz is definitely interested in getting into the electrical car like movement, their about section doesn't really show it off as much as you would expect. So again, to get more into that promotional side, for Mercedes-Benz, they use a lot of commercials and advertisements like pretty much any other company. They actually have one commercial that I watched where they were showing like a business representative who was definitely high up in his company. But instead of having a human head, he actually had the head of a lion instead. And I think that was definitely very purposeful to show like that the people who drive these cars are like the head of their company. They're powerful, king of the jungle type images. So I think that's definitely something they're looking to show in their commercials. They want to focus on style, reliability, and again, that classic look. And in that same commercial, they also did show some of the new technical features like the color changing as well. And again, the website font, it's history, but they also show the organizations they donate to, which I think is really important because hopefully part of having money or being better off is donating to people who are less in need or more in need, excuse me. But for promotion for Audi, they have a hashtag on their website, which is #DriveProgress. So again, that can be interpreted in a few ways. It could definitely be interpreted as in like we want to create better cars, futuristic styles, but I think it also can be interpreted on just progressing the world in general, maybe in social realms as well. So yes, the website definitely fonts the future. And product-wise, again, Mercedes-Benz is looking at showing off their classic vehicles, their sleek, high-class luxury design with some of those improvements like the sound system and the light-changing colors and stuff like that. But then for Audi, the product they're definitely trying to push is their electric vehicles, the research in artificial intelligence, and they're also partnering with Amazon to sell their charging stations, which is really important to reach people who maybe don't normally live near an Audi dealership. So overall, I think the companies are very comparable, but at the same time, Mercedes-Benz might be able to learn some of the marketing tactics from Audi just in the future, because the electric car trend is definitely not going away. It's something that's starting to be seen as luxurious and is important for companies to recognize for the environment as well. So I think Mercedes-Benz could learn something from these companies when it comes to marketing those cars. But that is the end of our presentation, and thank you for watching.